The movie begins in the beautiful area of Paradise, California, surrounded by vast forests. We see a school bus passing through the woods of the region. This bus is driven by a driver named Kevin. Kevin's job was to drop all the children home from school and finally park the bus in the Paradise City parking area. Now, as always, Kevin's boss, Ruby, reminds him at the office today to return for the 6 a.m. shift. However, Kevin's domestic situation was not going well, so he asks Ruby if he could get an extra shift so he could earn a little more money. But Ruby tells him that there are no extra bookings right now, and if there are, she will definitely let him know. Hearing this, Kevin leaves slightly disappointed. Now, reaching home, Kevin gets a call from his vet, who tells Kevin that his dog's cancer is growing rapidly. Therefore, he must bring him to the hospital for a checkup in the evening. Kevin brings his dog inside, where his mother tells him that due to feeling unwell, his son Sean also came home early from school today. Kevin thinks Sean is pretending to skip school, so he goes to Sean to try and make him understand. Kevin tells Sean that he has grown up now and needs to be responsible, but Sean replies to his father, saying that you were also careless, which is why I am just like you. Hearing this, Kevin gets a little angry, and Sean walks away upset. After this, he takes his dog to the hospital, where he spends some final moments with him. Now, at night, due to strong winds, an electric wire breaks in the hilly area, and a spark ignites a terrible fire that starts spreading rapidly. The next morning, Kevin arrives back for his 6 a.m. shift. There, Ruby reminds him to get the bus serviced as soon as he returns from the shift because it was time for the bus's maintenance. After this, Kevin leaves with his bus. Meanwhile, a truck driver sees the growing fire in the forest and alerts the control room. Upon this, the control room confirms the fire on cameras and quickly sends a team of firefighters there to extinguish it. But the firefighter team arrives and sees that the fire is quite far from there and is spreading even faster due to strong winds. After which, they set out on unpaved paths to reach the fire quickly. But due to the road being blocked ahead, they have to turn back. On the other hand, Kevin picks up all the children and drops them off at their school built in the middle of the forest. During this time, Kevin receives a call from his mother, who tells him that Sean's health has deteriorated significantly and he should come home quickly. But just then, Ruby also contacts Kevin and tells him that the mechanic is waiting for him to fix the bus, so he should bring the bus to the parking area immediately. Now, on the other side, the firefighter team was looking for a shortcut to reach the fire quickly to put it out. But during this, they receive a report from the control room about a fire in another place. So, they quickly talk to one of their officers on duty in that area, who tells them that the fire is spreading very fast there. That officer tells the people trapped there to leave the place in their vehicles. But the fire had grown so much there that people were forced to jump into the river water to save their lives. Soon, air tankers are also sent to extinguish the fire, but the fire cannot be put out even by those air tanker. On the other hand, Kevin stops on the way to buy medicine for Sean from a medical store. But as soon as he steps out of the store, he sees some fire trucks passing by at high speed. Seeing them, Kevin realizes that a terrible fire has broken out in the forest around their city and is moving rapidly towards their city. Kevin, in panic, tells Ruby that due to a family problem, he has to go home first. But Ruby tells Kevin that if he doesn't reach there on time, he will lose both his next shift and his job. Then he sends a voice message to his son Sean, saying, "Son, I might be a little late," and also tells him about the growing fire so that if the situation worsens, he can take his grandmother to the government safe house outside the city. Now, the school teachers also see the growing fire and start sending children with their parents. But still, 22 children remain whose parents were out of the city, and now a bus was needed to transport them from this school to a safe place. During this time, Kevin gets a call from his ex-wife Linda, who tells Kevin, "I know things have become very difficult for you after your father passed away, but at this time you should also think about Sean." Hearing this, Kevin falls into thought and messages Sean again, saying, "Son, I am coming back home," and turns his bus towards home. But then he hears Ruby's voice on the radio, asking all drivers for help to rescue those same 22 children trapped in the school. But one by one, all the drivers refuse her. Kevin also gets confused hearing Ruby's message, but then he decides that instead of his son, he will save the lives of those 22 children. Hearing this from Kevin, Ruby breathes a sigh of relief and thanks Kevin, after which Kevin reaches the school with his bus and meets teacher Mary to seat all the children in the bus. Kevin tells Mary, "You will also have to come along because I can only drop the children, but I cannot handle them." Now Kevin and Mary leave from there with the children, but seeing the growing fire and the crowd of cars on the way, Kevin changes his route. All the children start crying, but Kevin assures Mary that he will get the children to safety. Kevin starts focusing entirely on his driving. Meanwhile, the fire reaches the entire Paradise City and the hospital as well. On the other hand, Ruby is also forced to leave the depot with other people, causing her radio connection with Kevin to break. Chief Ray, along with his team, plans to evacuate people safely outside the city. In the meantime, Kevin's bus gets stuck in traffic again. He worries that the evacuation warning might not have reached Sean and his grandmother because he had never signed them up. Moreover, his mother didn't even know how to drive. During this, a nearby house gets surrounded by flames. Mary immediately moves the children away from the windows, and in panic, Kevin forces Mary into the driving seat and goes out himself to clear the traffic. As soon as the road clears, Mary, despite not knowing how to drive, manages to move the bus forward a little with difficulty, after which Kevin returns to the driver's seat. All the children shout with joy because they are about to reach the city school, where their parents are waiting for them. Here, Mary laughs and tells Kevin, "You could become a good traffic cop." But a little later, as soon as they reach the school, everyone is shocked. The school has completely burned down, and there is no one there. Now they have no choice but to move forward. Meanwhile, a girl in the bus suddenly has a panic attack. Mary immediately starts handling her, while Kevin continues to drive the bus on the difficult path. According to authorities, about 300 people are still trapped in the fire. Now Chief Ray asks the power company to cut the electricity connection so that the fire doesn't spread further from burnt wires, but there is a delay in manually turning off the power. Meanwhile, inside the bus, a small boy named Toby cries and says that perhaps he will never see his mother again. Kevin comforts him and promises, "I will take you safely to your home." Just then, electric poles and wires start falling on the road, but Kevin keeps moving the bus forward while saving it. Seeing the situation worsening, Kevin tries to take the bus from a dirt road to another highway, but the road is blocked there too. People are running here and they're trying to save themselves. Some people are burning and some are engaged in looting. Some armed men try to enter their bus too, but Kevin speeds up the bus through a narrow path and escapes from those armed men. Now the children start getting very troubled by heat and thirst. To prevent smoke from coming in, they have to turn off the AC as well. After this, out of compulsion, Mary goes to search for water in abandoned houses nearby. Risking her life, she brings some water bottles from a house van, after which Kevin grabs her and pulls her back into the bus, and they continue the journey with the children. Kevin keeps trying his best to drive the bus through the fire-filled path. On the other hand, Ruby reaches the safe camp. The parents of the children on the bus are there, whom Ruby now comforts, saying that Kevin is a responsible man and will surely bring all the children back safely. Meanwhile, Kevin takes the bus onto a dangerous mountain road. There, some local people tell him that the road ahead is destroyed by fire. Kevin stops them too and says, "Don't run back either. There is fire everywhere there too." But ignoring Kevin, those people move forward to try their luck. After that, Kevin gets off the bus, looks at the fire spreading all around, and understands that they are now trapped. But there is only one place left where the fire hasn't reached yet. He immediately closes the vents inside the bus so that smoke doesn't come in. Then, to keep the children calm, he starts telling them stories. Mary starts losing hope after a while and says, "Maybe in an hour, this fire will consume us too." But Kevin supports her and says, "We should never say such things." The night outside is now so bright, as if the day is burning. Sitting in peace for a while, Kevin tells Mary about the relationship between him and Sean. He says that he could never be a good father to Sean. Saying this, he becomes very sad, but Mary comforts him and says, "It's not too late, you can fix everything." Just then, the fire comes very close to their bus. Seeing this, the children start screaming, and Kevin and Mary together try to extinguish the fire with fire extinguishers. But the fire is so intense that the extinguishers run out quickly. They understand that there is now only one way to take the bus through the middle of the fire. But when Kevin tries to start the bus, it doesn't start. In panic, he removes the air filter and somehow manages to start the engine. Then, with full courage, he drives the bus fast on the path filled with fire and smoke. The smoke blinds his eyes and the children scream loudly. But Kevin does not stop. Despite his burning hands, he keeps driving the bus and finally brings everyone out alive from the circle of fire. Inside the bus, all the children and Mary hug each other with tears. Kevin himself cannot believe that they all survived. Now, after some time, he reaches the safe camp with the bus, where all the parents weep upon meeting their children. Little Toby also jumps with joy meeting his mother. Now Mary says to Kevin, "You did something amazing," and then she thanks him. Then outside in the camp, everyone claps for Kevin and calls him a real hero. And then Mary meets her family. Kevin gets down looking at the burnt condition of the bus. Ruby comes to him smiling with pride. Kevin also laughs and says, "Now it's really time for maintenance." A little later, Kevin finds his mother, who had been saved by her neighbors. His mother tells him that Sean's mother took him with her, and they are both safe too. Now, after a week, the fire is finally brought under control, but Paradise has now become just ruins. The forest and the city have all turned to ash. Kevin comes to his burnt house, where he finds a picture of himself and his son. Kevin puts that picture in his pocket. Just then, Sean comes from behind and hugs his father and starts crying. Both father and son meet each other smiling through tears. His mother also smiles, happily seeing them together from a distance. At the end of the movie, we are told that this fire was the biggest fire in the history of California, in which more than 13,000 homes were destroyed and 85 lives were lost. Pacific Gas and Electric Company was held responsible for this, and they had to pay $13.5 billion in compensation to the victims. I hope you liked this story. See you in a new magnificent next movie.